currently the middle of fall, and this is what our steer barn looks like this time of year. Every year we raise, grow, and sell 5 to 6 steers a year, specifically grass-fed British White Parks. And this is our setup. Right in the middle here is our main feed bay. As you can see, we've got the headlocks here. This section of headlock is actually out of my grandpa's old dairy barn, so it's cool to have a piece of equipment that still runs in the family. This serves a critical role because if we are sorting out steers, it's nice to be able to lock them in here or lock the ones that you want and unlock the ones you don't want, move them out, shut the gates, run them through the chute. Coming down the chute, we've got this gate here that we keep shut if, we're not using it. We got the chute itself here. We've got a door that we can lock shut if we're ever using it for specific reasons. And then we've got the Preferred head gate to sort, lock, and, control cattle. At this stage in the game, that chute is only used for loading cattle out when we take them to the butcher shop. We used to use it more often when we were trying our hands at a cow-calf operation, hence the reason we had this step here, as well as on the other side. We could lean over, do bug spray or dewormer or whatever. We could castrate them, whatever needed to happen. That's why we kind of built this whole system here. Now that chute really only gets used for sending cattle into a trailer. As for the rest of the barn, there's enough room in here for 6 or 7 of them to sit comfortably out of the weather, out of the elements, and just enjoy some food. We have an array of gates here as well to help with the sorting process when we are sending cattle out. But other than that, most of the gates just stay where they're at. This one is not usually here, and it's kind of just this common area for the steers to hang out. On the far side over here, we've had a stack of corn fodder bales that we've slowly been working through ever since 2021. Yeah, I said that right. They've been here for a very long time. We baled corn fodder off our property a couple years ago because we were planting some hay. We were like, hey, let's use this corn fodder as bedding. Well, we didn't use it as fast as we thought we would. Hence the reason there's still a couple bales there. In the center here, we've got more hay storage. This is normally where we put small square bales. It's just easier to back a truck or trailer in here and throw them over and stack them. Being on a hay farm, we're always going to have times where we make bad hay or we have wet bales, and so this is kind of where those cattle quality bales go. It's just a really easy way of disposing of them, and the steers love them. They gobble them right up. On the right side of the barn here, this is our main hay storage area. It goes all the way to the back there, and we stack all the way out to the front. I want to say there is nearly 30 big bales in here. I am not quite sure. But believe it or not, 5 steers will go through pretty much all of that hay by April or May. It'll be gone, or at least really close to being gone. So that's the steer barn itself. We've got the hay, we've got more hay, headlocks, bedding, gates, corrals, chute, headlock, whatever we need to use. Basically, we got whatever we need to store the animals, store hay, and sort animals right here in this barn. Over here, we have a Meyer Rocky mineral feeder. This is really nice to keep minerals contained, especially in the winter time when we like to feed more mineral. This is a pretty nice thing to have. Recently, I started using this big tub to feed off some other hay that I have, just because it's nice to maybe feed some grass hay in there and then some nice high quality alfalfa. Although this isn't high quality alfalfa, this was wet, musty alfalfa that just wasn't horse hay, but it'll make great cattle hay. I like to use that tub because the steers don't seem to waste it as much when it's kind of in that tub. In these headlocks over here, they like to just pull it right out, and they kind of make a mess and they waste a lot of it. So if I'm feeding some like really nice stuff, I'll put it in that tub. Now let's talk pasture for a second. Currently it's November 12th. This time of year, we pull all the cows off of our main pastures and put them on the sacrificial lot. That is this couple acre pasture that surrounds the barn here, comes around, and is right here where the steer barn itself is at. The sacrificial lot does exactly what it sounds like. We are taking a part of the pasture, a parcel, one of the paddocks, and we are sacrificing it to be able to preserve the rest of the pasture and let it rest over winter. I want to say there's a total of like 6 or 7 acres from all the way down there, all the way out and around out to the far end down there. And it's partitioned into like 1 acre blocks. And we do a form of rotational grazing called amp grazing, which is basically where you are constantly moving the animals. It varies from farm to farm, and how many animals you're moving and, how big your pastures are. But, we're basically moving them every 2 to 3 days. We have 5 steers. They're on this little 1 or 2 acre paddock for just a few days, and then we're moving them. They're not grazing everything. They're actually trampling a lot of the grass into the ground and pooping on a lot of it, but it's to build up organic matter and soil biodiversity. So it's a regenerative farming practice that we're trying to work out. The bugs here on our farm, we're still trying to figure out the details, but we're definitely moving in that direction. One of the key components, though, is to have a sacrificial lot so that the rest of the pastures can rest over winter and we're not grazing them down and basically eating them to nothing. However, sacrificial lot is that one lot where we will eat it down to nothing, and it will basically just be a piece of dirt. well, there'll still be grass, but it's not a very pretty pasture because it is the sacrificial lot. This is a pretty good example of what the sacrificial lot is. As you can see, this is really nipped down grass. There's really not much here. But if we just come over to this pasture, as you can see, there's a lot more grass there. Now, we did have 2 months of extremely dry weather, so that has really hurt the grass growth. Yet this pasture still looks a lot better than this one here. These are the stars themselves. That guy's a little special. As you can see, he's not in the right pasture. He kind of snuck over there, I guess. But we've got 5 of them down here, British White Parks, and they are just enjoying this gorgeous fall day. Here's another integral part of the amp grazing. We have our solar box here and 1 strand of hot wire, and that's how we partition everything. And it works pretty well. Come on. Yep, you can go. You can go. You're good. There you go. Oh boy. We also have 2 water holes, one on this end of the pasture and one down on that one. Sorry for the wind. And if those water holes ever dry up, which they haven't yet, but if they ever do, we do have a spigot on the one end up there, so we can always fill up a trough. And go over there. Come on. Come on, it's over here. Come on. I know you followed me for a reason. Come on. Come on. Come on, bud. It's right here. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. Come on. I know you see it. There you go. Oh boy. Are you drooling? There you go. Have at it. Bon appetit. Have yourself a delicious meal. So that's our steer setup. That's how we feed them. That's how we handle them. And that's how we treat them. They're 100% grass fed. They eat all hay and all pasture. No sort of grain, stocker feeds, no hormones or artificial anything. 100% grass fed natural beef. That's the way we like it. In my mind, there is nothing wrong with corn fed beef either, but everybody got their preference, and this is what we like to do, and it just works best for our farm and our operation. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos just like this, leave a comment below. Give this video a like, share with your friends. If people want to learn how to raise your own beef, share this video and comment down below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.